Giannis basically just requested a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks, so here's the 5 most likely destinations for him. At number 5 is the Minnesota Timberwolves. This would require them to trade away Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, and Rob Dillingham. They don't have a ton of future picks to trade, which is why they're not higher on the list, but I could see Milwaukee being interested in adding Jaden McDaniels, and then maybe you could find a third team for Naz Reid so that you can give a little bit more draft pick and future value to Milwaukee. They're not higher on the list because I think there are other destinations Giannis would rather go to, and they don't have as much to give up, but the concept of Giannis and Anthony Edwards together with Rudy Gobert in the front court is really interesting. Number 4 is the Atlanta Hawks. This would require Giannis to actually want to go to Atlanta, and it would require the Hawks actually being willing to trade away not only Jalen Johnson, but also Zachary Richichet, and they have the Pelicans pick in this upcoming draft. They're kind of a sneaky wild card team for me because they actually do have a lot of stuff to trade. I'm just not sure they'd be willing to, even for someone as great as Giannis, because what do they have left? Giannis and Trae Young is great, but is that enough to compete in the East? I'm not sure. And number 3 is the New York Knicks. The positive here is they've already had communication with Milwaukee over the summer about a possible Giannis trade, and clearly it's a situation that Giannis would like to go to. The downside is they don't have a lot to trade. It would have to be Mikal Bridges, some of the other younger guys, some contracts, and they'd have to find a way to get some draft picks out of this. I don't think that what they have is enough here, so you'd have to find a place for Josh Hart to go, maybe even a place for Mikal Bridges to go to get a bunch of draft picks to send back in exchange for Giannis. I think it's going to be something that could be likely just because of his interest there, but it would require some finesse in terms of finding better compensation. At number 2, and clearly in their own tier in terms of likelihood of actually landing Giannis in the middle of the season, is the San Antonio Spurs. They would have to trade away Devin Vassell, some contracts, and you know they've got a ton of future picks. And that is one of the reasons why the Spurs are where they are on the list. They have a bunch of stuff they could trade. You could figure out a De'Aaron Fox trade. You could figure out a Dylan Harper trade. You could figure out a Steph Castle trade and mix and match all kinds of different draft picks however you want to pair Giannis alongside of Victor Wembanyama. The 2 reasons this wouldn't happen would be if Giannis doesn't want to go to San Antonio for whatever reason, or the Spurs are not super willing to give up a ton of future assets in exchange for Giannis. And number 1, and I think the most likely, is the Houston Rockets. They can trade away Jabari Smith, Reed Shepard, Tari Eason. You know they have a bunch of young guys and a bunch of picks. The reason this wouldn't happen is because they don't want to disrupt their team when they're already really good this year, and I think it's unlikely they would trade either Amen Thompson or Alperen Şengün in the deal, which could take them out of the running, and those are the 5 most likely destinations for a Giannis trade.